Welcome back. You're watching Newsx with me, Devika Devan. This is our rolling coverage of Russian President Vladimir Putin, who's currently in India. He was accorded a ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan forecourt in New Delhi ahead of his summit talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the second day of his state visit to the nation. This is President Putin's first visit to India since the beginning of the Ukraine war, which is currently drawing global attention because of renewed peace efforts involving US President Donald Trump. The 23rd India-Russia annual summit will has commenced at 11:50 a.m. in the Hyderabad House. This will be followed by press statements by Prime Minister Modi and Mr. Putin. The initial statements have already come out. Prime Minister Narendra Modi told Russian President Vladimir Putin that India is on the side of peace and the world should return to peace, referring to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. In his televised opening remarks at the summit, Mr. Modi said that the conflict should come to an end through dialogue and diplomacy. He said, and I quote, "We support a peaceful solution to the conflict." The Prime Minister further of course, reiterated India's position. On his part, however, the Russian president said that his country is working on a peaceful solution to the conflict as well. Mr. Putin, like I said, is on his first tour of India in 4 years at a time when New Delhi is engaged in talks with the US for a trade deal to cut punitive tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump on its goods over India's Russian oil purchases. Professor Georgy Toloraya from the Russia Academy of Science joins us live from Moscow. I also have with me on the broadcast Ambassador Gauri Shankar Gupta, Group Captain Dr. B.N. Jha and Colonel Sanjeet Sirohi with us. But let me begin with our guest from Moscow. Professor Toloraya, I have to understand from you. In the past 24 hours, a few statements have been made so far. What has stood out to you the most?
Unfortunately, I haven't seen the latest statements. I know that the talks are ongoing and that there are great expectations because this is the first Putin's visit over 4 years, and it's a state visit, which gives the additional significance. I know that they talked about Ukraine, and of course the points of view differ. But I understand that both sides well understand and respect the points of view of each other, and that Putin is expressed his desire to find a peaceful solution, a final solution to this conflict, which I think would also be welcomed by the Indian side. That's as far as I know right now.
Professor Toloraya, then I have to understand from you, sir, what really is the perception on ground in Russia, in Moscow, as far as this particular visit is concerned? What can you tell us, that's relevant to an Indian audience as well? How is this visit really being perceived?
Say it again, I cannot understand you, sorry.
Professor Toloraya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can't hear you right, sorry. What's the impression on the ground or what?
Yes, the impression on the ground of this particular visit, the time of the visit and the decision of the Russian president to come to India.
Well, I understand that you ask about Russian reaction on the ground of Putin's visit to India. It's very much welcomed. It's one of the most important events, international events over the last years. Because due to sanctions, Putin has not traveled much, and his visits has been mostly connected to the neighboring CIS countries and neighboring Eurasian countries. The only exception being the visit to Alaska. This visit to India is of greatest significance. Both from the bilateral relations and from the point of view of global politics, that expression the Russians' outreach for global partners like India, which is one of the most important players on the world stage. So the impression of this visit in general, I see as highly positive.
Professor Toloraya, what is your assessment, or rather, what is your key takeaway? What are you hopeful will now come out of this particular visit? Keeping the defense pact aside, sir, on a people-to-people level, there is some talk about the mobility of skilled labor from India going into Russia. So from that front, sir, what is your expectation?
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. The connection is bad. But from what I presume that what are the expectations from this visit? Of course, there are expectations for new deals and contracts and economic cooperation, both in defense sector and in other sectors of trade, because our trade have reached maximum from Soviet time. But at the same time, it's really one-sided. There's a great disbalance. So the work is being undertaken to find the products in India which Russia could buy, and so even make the balance more even and more balanced. So this is what the experts expect from this visit, and also the general public also thinks that increase in trade and economic cooperation is important. That's, I think, is the gist of the economic side. But politically speaking, it's much more important than that, as I've mentioned. It's the show of if not of support, and understanding of Russian position, and this is highly welcome.
Right, absolutely. Professor Toloraya, thank you so much, sir, for joining us with that perspective. Appreciate it.